sir. I guess it's that time. I'm a few minutes late, but I'm here. I'm here. I hope y'all didn't think I was going to sit this one out. No, we got a lot to talk about, guys. We got a lot to talk about. All right. Now, where should we begin? First and foremost, I want to give a quick shout out and salute to the sponsor of today's video. As you know, I've been blessed to get this sponsor a grant to educate the people about sickle cell. And by the way, I'm going to make this a series in and of itself because the commercials, the PSA public service announcements that I'm giving out concerning sickle cell, it's like a mini series in and of itself. So I'm going to start a playlist. So if you all want to go back and enjoy you want to go back and enjoy the commercials, the sickle cell related public service announcements, that will be available for you as a standalone playlist y'all can go and check out independently. Now you see the thumbnail, you see the topic of tonight's conversation. Tonight we're going to be breaking down President Obama's legacy. And the reason we're talking about this is because I've had people ask me, it's an election year, and I've had a lot of people ask me, so what do you think about Obama? They know I'm online talking about, a lot of controversial topics and things of that nature, talking about current events, news, politics, all types of stuff. So a lot of people ask me, hey, so what do you think about Obama? So I thought I'd go ahead and make a video kind of breaking this down. I gotta break it down. I gotta tell y'all my perspective as far as President Obama. And we're gonna break into that conversation. But first, I got to play this quick service announcement. It's a commercial, but I find it interesting, and shout out to my sponsors. So let's hear from our sponsors, and then we'll break into tonight's conversation. All right, check this out. Boom. All right, check this out.
Doctor, I need alcohol to help with my depression and pain, especially since they don't give me enough meds. Give me one good reason why I should stop drinking.
Well, for starters, approximately 30% of people with sickle cell disease suffer from depressive symptoms. Alcohol, being a depressant, can aggravate depression in the long term by intensifying symptoms, triggering mood swings, causing sleep disturbances, lowering sleep quality, and interfering with various medications, particularly antidepressants.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Well, did you know that alcohol's capacity to diminish inhibitions and enhance impulsivity may lead individuals to engage in actions such as self-harm or suicide?
Well, I'm not looking to die. Let's talk about some options.
Well, let's see what we do.
Like A, be open to using data to drive your decision making when it comes to pain management and care. You see, A did just that and was the better for it.
All right. Boom, boom, boom. Burr, 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 burr. That's right. That is episode B. Now notice if you were here for last night's episode, you'll see that this is a series in and of itself. All the episodes, all of the commercials are not the same. So there is like a mini series going on, and every commercial is going to be its own PSA, its own note to those who are suffering from sickle cell. So like I said, I'm going to make a standalone playlist with these different episodes, these different public service announcements. Now, today's sponsor, with the message that we're trying to give here, is if you suffer from sickle cell, do not make your situation worse by consuming alcohol. There are alternatives. There are alternatives that are healthier, juices that you can that will help your body and still keep you loose if that's what you want to do. You want to get loose? Okay, I get it. You have a weekend just like everyone else, but you don't need to get drunk. You don't need to make your situation worse. There are alternatives, healthy alternatives that you can use to strengthen your body, strengthen your immune system, and prevent a crisis. Let me tell you, I've seen my brother in crisis a number of times. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. So let's not do anything to provoke that or to spur that, let's prevent it. Okay, so we're going to leave the alcohol alone. We're going to stay sober, and we're going to find the alternatives, healthy alternatives that we can use to enjoy our night in a safe manner. As y'all know, I look at all of my comments. I respond to all of my comments. Before we break into tonight's conversation, let me give a quick shout out to Prezi Valentine. What's going on, Prezi? All right, he says, which one do you consider good? Which decade? Who didn't follow the agenda of the secret societies and actually did what was right? I'm glad you asked that. Brother, I'm glad you asked that, because you know what? I haven't even touched on that topic yet, but that's a perfect time to transition. I was just getting the sponsors out the way, had to speak to the sponsors. But now that we've heard from our sponsors, let's get into the conversation. Now, Prezi, I'm letting you know, bro, I am a dissident. A dissident means I don't like any presidents. I don't like any presidents. So if people ask me, do I like President Obama? Was President Obama a good president? My initial reaction is just like you. There is no such thing as a good president. All right, that's my initial reaction is I don't like any presidents. What president, like you're saying, what president is good, right? But I have to be fair, because as a black person, and we only have one respected black president. The reason I say respected is because there are some people who believe that folks like Abraham Lincoln was a mulatto, was a half black man. So we don't know. We don't know if President Obama was the first quote unquote black president, but we do know that President Obama is the first widely recognized black president. So when people ask me, is President Obama a good president? They're not just asking me about a president. They're not asking me about Biden or Trump or Clinton or any president from the past. There's a bit of an agenda. That question it's a loaded question. It's a loaded question. If I just say, oh, I don't like any presidents, President Obama was a bad president, I'm not disrespecting all the presidents. They're taking that to mean I'm disrespecting Obama, the first black president, right? So when I'm saying, is President Obama a good president? I've got to be measured with my words on that topic. I've got to be measured with my words, right? I've got to answer that question within the lens of, like you said, what is a good president? First of all, I don't like any presidents, that's my disclaimer. They're all bad as far as I'm concerned, because they are all in charge of an empire, which I am opposed to, right? So ultimately, it's only so much love I can show to any president, right? And it's not disrespecting the person, because outside of his role as president, Barack Obama might be a cool guy. Michelle Obama, he's got a black family, black wife, black kids. If I meet them, walking down the street, they might be a cool family. I don't have any problem with him as an individual. But they're asking the question as far as him as a president. So what do I consider a good president? If I'm going to answer you what is a good president, I would say a good president is someone who left the nation better than he found it. All right? That would be my definition of a good president, a quote unquote good president. A good president is somebody who received control of the country at one point, and at the end of his term or terms, left office with the state of the country being better than when he took it. By that definition, I would have to say President Barack Obama was a good president. Whoa, what? Me? Yeah. Me, the person that hates all presidents, the person who's a dissident, I don't like any presidents. But I'm saying President Obama is a good president by that definition. And I'm going to break down and give you reasons why I say President Obama was a good president by that definition. By the factor of he left the country in a better place than when he took it. All right? Exhibit A is going to have to be the 2008 collapse. The 2008 collapse. I think President Barack Obama really doesn't get the credit that he deserves when it comes to saving the country from a total financial collapse. All right? In 2008, the collapse of the housing market during the Great Recession displaced close to 10 million Americans. This is in 1 year alone. really in a few months, not even the whole year, because the collapse really came towards the end of the year, the end of 2008, like around September, right? It's not like it was as bad in January. The collapse that year, 1 year, 10 million Americans were displaced. They left their homes. Rising unemployment led to mass foreclosures. 1.5 million people were fired. Boom, you lose your job. Shortly after that, you lose your house. This thing can get bad. This thing could have been bad. In 2008 alone, 3.1 million Americans filed for foreclosure, which at the time was 1 in every 54 homes, according to CNN Money. The demise not only ruined the American dream, quote unquote, but increased skepticism among the younger generation that had yet to enter the housing market, which means the people who were getting the jobs, let's say an older generation lost their job, the younger folks, when they got their jobs, they're like, well, I just saw my dad and my granddad lose their jobs. They losing their house. I got a job now, but I'm not about to buy a house, which means the new generation is not stimulating the economy. The new generation is holding on to their money. Hey, I'm going to, instead of getting a new house and starting my family, I think I'm going to move in with my dad because my dad just lost his job and I want to help him out. Huh? Does that sound reasonable? I think it sounds reasonable. So right now, the economy is collapsing. People are not spending money. People are holding on to their money and trying to protect their family. This is the legacy that President Obama began with. This is the country that President Obama began with. At this time, we are already in 2 wars. We're in war in Iraq. We're in war in Afghanistan. Guantanamo Bay is open and in full effect. President Obama is taking the country from George Bush, and the country is like, listen, we've had enough of this Republican dude. This Bush guy, he did not do a good job. All right. Now, which reminds me, mind you, when I'm on here, when I'm on this live, it's a stream of consciousness here, right? So I'm just giving y'all the information that I've got stored up here. It is not scripted. I'm just here talking, giving y'all my opinions on these things, right? So as I talk, something might click on me. I have to give you all some disclaimers here as I give you my perspective on this topic. So me, I'm relatively young, right? I was looking at my analytics earlier today, and I saw that, hold on, let me pull it up right quick. Right as we're talking, y'all stand by. I'm going to check out my analytics as we're talking. Bada bing, bada boom, bada boom, bada bing. All right, so the age breakdowns. I've got about 12% of the folks 18 to 24, 30% of the folks 25 to 34, 27% of the folks 35 to 44, 17% of the folks 45 to 54, 10% 55 to 64, and 5-6% 65 and over. All right, that's my breakdown as far as my analytics. I'm somewhere in between the age of most of my viewers, right? I was born in 1991. All right, now you're not supposed, as a YouTuber, someone out here, you're not supposed to tell your age. I don't care. I'm just giving you all the honest truth. This is what I got. I only got 3 years under my belt. I'm just going to be honest with it. Some people, YouTubers, like to hide that stuff because it makes them more relatable to every generation. Hey, if y'all like me, y'all like me. If you don't, I'm not here sweating it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm 33. I was born in 1991, which means the presidents in my lifetime would include Bill Clinton, George Bush, President Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden. I've got 5 presidents that I've seen in my time. My time on this planet, I've actually seen 5 presidents in office, right? If I'm thinking about these 5 presidents, I've got to say that President Obama was one of the best presidents out of these 5. Out of these 5, I've got to say that President Obama is the only one who has no major scandals against him. And I haven't even finished the conversation as far as his legacy, as far as what he's done, as far as getting us out of the housing market, the wars and all that. I'm going to break all of that down. But before I even get into that, I've got to explain the fact that Bill Clinton, what was he famous for? Monica Lewinsky. He's over there getting sloppy toppy in the Oval Office, right? We've got George Bush. What is he famous for? Lying to the American people. Oh, we've got to go into Iraq to remove the weapons of mass destruction. He lied us into multiple wars. He lied to the American people, and he started wars of aggression. He's literally a war criminal. President Obama, no major scandals. Michelle never came out and said, "Oh, I'm asking for divorce." Michelle never said, "Oh, he's over here sleeping with the secretaries." There was never any major scandal about Barack Obama. Now, whether you stand or support his policies, we're going to have that conversation separately. But as far as just his image, he's got a solid image. There's no real scandals you can hold against President Barack Obama. No major scandals. He wasn't slapping up Michelle. He wasn't sleeping with the secretaries. He stayed pretty clean cut. He did his thing. No major scandals against Barack Obama. Fast forward to Donald Trump. You've got felony indictments against Donald Trump. You've got him on tape talking about he's grabbing women by a monkey. There's certain words I can't say on this YouTube thing, but Donald Trump's over here grabbing women by the monkey, right? We don't have Barack Obama saying crude stuff like that. We don't have hundreds of felony indictments against President Barack Obama, but we do have felony indictments against President Donald Trump. We do have President Donald Trump spurring an insurrection on January 6th. We've got images of Donald Trump saying this election was rigged and we're going to go down to the Capitol and we're going to let our voices be heard, which resulted in hundreds of people getting arrested. They're in prison right now today. So the results of Donald Trump's words was him and a lot of the people around him ending up sitting in court, and a lot of them sitting behind bars. Whether you support the policies or not, we're going to have that conversation separately. But let's just look at the scandals. We've got a philanderer, a womanizer in Bill Clinton. We've got a liar and a warmonger in George Bush. We've got a felon. We've got an alleged felon, an alleged criminal, right, in Donald Trump. And then we've got Joe Biden, who seems to have dementia. Let's just be open with it. The man is handicapped. We've got a literal handicapped, mentally handicapped man taking office, sitting in office today. So out of the 5 presidents that I've seen in my lifetime, President Barack Obama, not that bad. Not that bad. And listen, I know that this isn't the conversation that y'all want to hear. A lot of people want me to get on here and diss Barack Obama. They want me to diss him. Oh, he wasn't nothing. You know, he didn't do anything for black people. I hate Barack Obama. He didn't do nothing for black people. Okay. All right. I hear you. I hear you and I feel you on that. He didn't do anything for black people. I give you that. But what he did do, and I think what his intent was to do, was to spur thought. Barack Obama's, I'm listening, and the reason, okay, let me also give y'all this. The reason I'm even making this conversation is because right now I'm listening to the audiobook. Barack Obama's audiobook is The Promised Land. I'm listening to his audiobook, and I'm listening to his perspective. Whether you agree with everything he says or not, I would encourage you to go back and read or listen to President Barack Obama's audiobook, The Promised Land. Because if you read that, whether you agree with him or not, you can kind of get his perspective. You know, if this is his lens that he wants people to see, this is how he saw the world when he was in office as a senator, as a young senator, well, first as a young lawyer, well, first as a young teen, going into college, becoming a lawyer, then becoming a senator, and then making the decision to run for president, winning, and his decisions while in office. He kind of walks you through that in his book, The Promised Land. So I'm listening to his audiobook, and I just wanted to make this video to kind of, what I've seen so far, I don't think that Russell, and a lot of people, I'm telling you, a lot of people are disappointed. A lot of people want me to diss Obama. Like, he didn't do anything for black people. Let me tell you what he did do. In 2009, that's when he first got in office, right? Because 2008 was the election, November 2008. He took office in January of 2009. I was too young to vote at that time. And I did not vote for him in 2014 because of what he did to Gaddafi. He killed Gaddafi, and that led me to get out of the army, not resign when I could have in the army. I was like, oh nah, that was one of the things that woke me up. But what Obama did was he made me start looking at politics, right? In 2009, when President Barack Obama first took office, I was still in high school. I was a senior in high school. And I went to Hawaii, University of Hawaii. Mind you, President Barack Obama is from Hawaii. You start to see some similarities here. So I went to the University of Hawaii. Why? To study marine biology. I used to work at the Georgia Aquarium. Everyone knows I'm from Atlanta. I had never up to this point been to Hawaii, so I'm going out from the East Coast all the way to past the West Coast to a state I've never been to before. But I knew that studying marine biology, Hawaii would be the best school for me. So I went out to the University of Hawaii to study marine biology. As I was there, studying marine biology, I got involved with NOAA. I started to get involved in some campaigns to save that was 15 years ago. What kind of whales were those? The seals. Were they seals? Yeah, the seals. On the Big Island, they had seals that were being hunted and they were almost going into extinction. So I started to get involved in politics on the EPA side of the game, Environmental Protection Agency, getting involved with NOAA and the EPA, trying to protect the seals. So you can see I'm kind of drifting here, right? President Barack Obama is in office. I'm looking at I'm in high school. Well, I'm in college now. I'm 18, 19 years old. I'm going out to Hawaii for the first time. I'm getting involved in politics. Even though I'm studying marine biology in school, I'm getting involved in politics because we're knocking on doors trying to get people to sign up, get people to volunteer, get people to get active in order to save these seals. So I'm starting to get involved in politics. I'm looking up to this president, this black president. He's early in his first term at this point. So I don't know if he's going to be a good president or a bad president. I don't know at this point. It's 2009. I just know he's a black president. He's in DC. I grew up in DC, from Atlanta, grew up in DC. There's a lot of things here that's making me look at Obama like he's a good dude, right? It wasn't until 2014 when he killed Gaddafi that I was like, whoa, okay, all presidents are bad. It doesn't matter if you're black or that's a whole nother story. But let me tell you, I was looking at this. This is how I was growing up. This is what I was living like, right? So I'm looking at President Obama like, okay, he's pretty cool in 2009. And there's all stream of consciousness. In his book, The Promised Land, he explains that Michelle Obama was adamantly against Barack Obama running for president. First of all, Michelle Obama didn't want Barack Obama to run for senator. Michelle Obama was like, you're doing enough here as an attorney. We've got kids here. We need to focus on our family. We need to focus on making money to support our family. We don't need to spend money on this campaign, spend time on this campaign. You're spending time away from the family. Our kids will be exposed. People can start looking at our kids. Michelle Obama was totally against it as a senator, let alone his decision to run for president. Michelle Obama was like, no, absolutely not. Why do you need to run for president? Hillary Clinton is capable. She's a senator now. She's got experience. She's got a president as a husband, is a former president, Bill Clinton. Hillary Clinton can be the president. If not Hillary, Joe Biden has been a senator for years. Joe Biden would be a good president. This is back before Joe Biden started to get dementia and lose his mind. Michelle Obama was firmly against President Barack Obama running for president. Michelle Obama was like, no, if it's my decision, if I have the final say in this, no, the answer is no, don't do it. Barack Obama ignored his wife. Barack Obama ignored Michelle Obama and said, I'm running regardless. And he explained to her, well, the reason I'm running and I need to run now is because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, for one. And for two, my intention is to spur thought and action in the younger generation. I'm trying to wake up the younger folks to get involved in politics. And if that was Barack Obama's intention, I would say he was successful. I'm here talking to you today, in part, I can't give him all the credit, but in part because of the legacy that Barack Obama has left. Because of, as a young man, as an 18-year-old high schooler slash 18-year-old freshman in college, looking up to the first black president, that spurred me to change my major from marine biology to political science. I ended up studying political science. Barack Obama, his goal was to spur the next generation, and he was successful. Now, did he do anything for black people policy wise? No, not so much. I can't say that he did. But as an image, he did. And you know what that did? That spurred people like me to get involved in politics, because now I'm here talking about politics all the time. I'm here saying we need reparations. And there's a lot of other folks just like me who were kids, who were young teenagers when Barack Obama was the president. And as we grow up, you'd be surprised at some of us, our involvement in politics. I'm just saying, you got to give credit where credit is due. Now, all of that I just said has nothing to do with the policies. We're going to break down his policies, but I had to give him credit just on that background information, just with the background information alone. I have to give him credit because, in small part, he did influence me to get involved in politics. So I got to give him credit. And if I have any influence on the next generation, like I said, I've got, 20% of my viewers are under the age of 30? No, more than that. 30% of my viewers are under the age of 30? Who knows? One or two of them might end up doing the same thing, becoming YouTubers, talking about politics. Who knows? Getting involved. Pushing. One of them might run for office and make real progress on the reparations tip. Who knows? We'll see. But digressing from the point of just his image, just his being black, as a role model, as a figure that young black men could look up to and get involved in politics, which I would say he was successful in that. Let's get back into the policy. So, let me share my screen here. So, going back to the crash, like I said, 10 million Americans, rising unemployment. This is what he's dealing with when he's taking office. All right. We've got 1.5 million people who lost their jobs. We've got 10 million people who lost their homes or have no place to live. And people people underestimate how devastating that was when Barack Obama took office. And effectively, up to this point, he was able to turn that around. Not only that, but you got to understand Barack Obama was doing this all alone. Let me show you this image here. And I'm going to blow this up a little bit so y'all can take a look at this. Y'all bear with me. Bada bing, bada boom. Let me share that. Do you see that? This is the obstruction that Barack Obama had to face. The obstruction. He had to face the filibuster. The filibuster had all-time obstruction. There were 168 presidential nominees that were filibustered. 86 were blocked under all the other presidents. 82 were blocked under President Barack Obama alone. 82. Look at this graph and understand what this man had to put up with. We talk about racism just, in our own personal lives. We talk about police brutality. We talk about, racism on the job and stuff like that. What do you think Barack Obama was dealing with? When you see stats like this, 82% of the filibusters happened to Obama, whereas 86 of them happened to the other 49 presidents. Right? Can you imagine the obstruction that he had to face? So the man was limited. The man was handcuffed. There was only so much he could do, even if he wanted to. There's only so much he could do. Could we cut the man some slack? Could we give the man a break? I mean, at the end of the day, like, how much can you really expect from the man? He tried to help out with the healthcare. He got the Obamacare thing going, and I'm not a supporter of that. I believe we should have gotten Medicare for all. But when you look at things like this, how realistic do you think it would have been for him to pass Medicare for all? Do you think he could have, even if he wanted to? With the obstruction the way it was, what do you expect from the man? What could he have done? What more could he have done? The man made it through not only one term but two terms. That's more than Trump, and it looks like that might be more than Biden too. Let's be real. That might be more than Trump or Biden. Obama got two terms. Trump got one and was kicked out. It looks like Biden's going to get one. He's going to get kicked out too. All right. Obama got two consecutive terms with no scandals. 8 years, no scandals. He faced mass obstruction. He was able to pull the country out of a massive financial crisis that crippled other countries. Portugal has never been the same since. Italy, Greece has never been the same since. Other countries have gone literally underwater, bankrupt, literally have gone bankrupt because of the 2008 financial crisis. Barack Obama, despite all of the obstruction that he faced, was able to pull us out from the brink of destruction. Can we give the man some credit? Can we give the man some credit? And like I said, I'm not a president's fan. Forget an Obama fan. I don't really like any presidents. I don't like any. I'm a dissident. I don't like any presidents. I don't like any. I'm naturally disagreeable. I'm not a friendly guy. I'm disagreeable. I'm a dissident. I don't like any presidents. But if you ask me about Obama as if he's particularly bad, oh yeah, he's worse than all the others. I'm going to say that's BS. He's not. He's not any worse than all the other presidents. He's not. Now a lot of people like to say um, he was so divisive. He divided the country. No, he did not. No, he did not. There was backlash. There was white backlash, as we can see in this image here. All the obstruction that he faced, but there's nothing that he did. He wasn't out here, condemning. He wasn't saying anything racist. He wasn't. He didn't do anything to really big up the black community. White people just hated him. White. They like to say white people hated him because of the color of his skin, and black people loved him because of the color of his skin. And I would say that that's fairly accurate. That's fairly accurate. White people hated him because he was black. Black people loved him because he was black, and that's pretty accurate. That is pretty accurate, right? But disregarding his skin, if we disregard him being the first black president, I would say that he was still a decent president because the state that he took the country in was worse than the state that he left it in. It was worse. He was handed a financial crisis that crippled countries. Countries went bankrupt. Portugal has never recovered. Italy has never recovered. The United States was on the brink of destruction. And despite all of the obstruction, despite the filibustering, despite the racism that he faced, he was able to turn the country around from the brink of destruction, from the brink of financial collapse. All right? So when people say, oh, he's the worst president, he was so divisive, all he did was bad, that makes me look at you funny. Like, oh, really? If Barack Obama was so bad, who are you talking about that's so great? Because me, I don't like any presidents, but I'm not going to single out Obama like he's the worst. We only got one real black president that's clearly black, and I'm not going out of my way to diss him. You know what we only got one. Shoot. You know how he had to set the bar. But shoot, let him not be the last. If we just the only one that we got, how does the next generation look at that? We might have young men, might be 18, 19, 20, 21 in college now with dreams of one day becoming a lawyer, one day becoming a senator, one day becoming a president. And how do we look as the black community if we go out of our way to say Obama wasn't nothing, he didn't do nothing for black people, forget Obama? Word? Word? for me, if someone asked me what I think about Obama, I would say first and foremost, I don't like any president. But as far as presidents go, Obama wasn't bad. He wasn't bad. Out of the last five, out of the last five presidents, arguably he was the best. He's got less scandals than Bill Clinton. He's got less scandals than George Bush. He's got less scandals than Donald Trump. He's got less scandals than Joe Biden. So all the hate that Obama's facing, hey, I can't condone it. I can't condone it. And I know I'm probably going to lose some subscribers because people love to diss Obama. People want me to diss Obama. If I come out and say, "Oh, Obama was cool. He was a good president," it's like, "Oh, you just like him because he's black. Oh, you're pandering." Yeah, all right, well. So I got to go on the record. We're going to keep this conversation short. We're going to keep this conversation short. But I just want to go on the record as saying, hey, if after today you see me dissing Obama, it's because I don't like any presidents. Period. I don't like any presidents. But I have to at least make one video. I got to at least give him credit for one time as being part of the influence that spurred me down the road of politics, getting interested in politics. And furthermore, I got to say, if people, to the people that say Obama didn't do anything for black people, before I close up, I got to say this one more time. If you say Obama didn't do anything for black people, my question to you would be, what did you want him to do? Because right now, I'm calling for reparations. And a lot of people are pushing back against that. A lot of black people are saying, no, we don't need reparations. So how on the one hand you're saying Obama didn't do anything for black people, and then when I say, hey, here's something that black people should want, you say we don't need it. All right, well, what exactly do you want Obama to do for black people? He saved the country from financial ruin. That's not enough. He tried to make some progress as far as the healthcare system goes. That wasn't enough. So what exactly, especially if you say he didn't do anything specifically for black people, well, you're right. He didn't do anything for reparations, but guess what? We weren't pushing for reparations in 2009. We weren't pushing for reparations in 2000 and 2014 when he was running for re-election. We weren't pushing for reparations. I did not hear the reparations conversation take off really until around 2016, 2017, when Obama lost office. Well, not lost, but when Donald Trump was in office and people were looking back on Barack Obama's legacy and they were saying, well, Obama didn't do anything. And the question was raised, well, what should he have done? That's really when the conversation as far as reparations began to take off. So now, I would say, support reparations. What are you doing for the black community? You want Obama to do so much, but what are you doing? If you're not supporting reparations, then I don't want to hear the argument he didn't do anything for black people, because I don't know exactly what that means. What exactly do you want Obama to do for black people? I can tell you the next black president, he better do something for black people. Specifically, he better be supporting reparations. He better lay the foundation. He better do what he needs to do to make some roads, to make some progress. Reparations better be on the agenda if we get another black president. But that's not going to make me go out of my way to diss the only one we've got. But hey, that's just what I think. If you made it this far in the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Now, you might not have agreed with this conversation, but that's okay. I got a lot of different topics that I speak on. News, politics, current events, hip-hop, biblical prophecies, doomsday prepping. Come on back for more. I'm sure there's going to be a topic that you appreciate, that you find interesting and educational. So be sure, if this is your first time watching, to smash the subscribe button, dog. Be sure to smash the subscribe button. Come on back for more. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.